Kumala lela lela. Sumala lela lela. Can't remember what the name of this movie is. I'm pretty sure it's Somalia. Or Somalia. I don't know what it is, folks, but we're back with another movie review here on Fog Entertainment. I'm walking the dog. I'm in the woods. We're in the woods. Right? I'm in the woods. I'm walking the dog. Is there a better place or a better time to break it down, D-Generation X style, and start talking about this movie, released in 2024, I believe it was an Indonesian film, and we've got good and evil. We begin this movie, right, we pretty much go 0 to 100 here. These kids are playing, ball gets lost, this creature picks up the ball, takes it into the woods, and you're thinking, alrighty, what's going on? And this kid's like, well, fuck it, I want my ball back. He chases after it. Trisno, don't do it, man. And then, as the other fat kid rocks up, Trisno is getting the side of his skull smashed in by this demonic creature, and I'm just sitting there thinking, holy smokes, guys. Like, how crazy is this, right? Getting his skull absolutely knocked pan fucking breed into him, man, and it's like, that's the first 5 minutes. Then we cut back till like all the other members of the group find out. The father of the dead kid, points blame at his friend, but then some guy appears with one eye and he's like, Sumala. Then we have a 29 years earlier sequence where we have this guy. He's kind of like king, but he's not really king. His uncle wants to give up territory, but he's like, no, I'm not giving it up to my greedy uncle. So you're thinking, right, 20 seconds into this guy's introduction, seems like an honourable man. He wants to do things right, not give in to greed. So he's like, but now he tells his wife, well, you know what, if we can't bear children, i.e. you, then there's going to be big problems. And obviously she doesn't look too old to have kids. I think it's just more of a problem with the womb, the reproductive system sort of thing. So what this leads us to here is a simple case of the heebie-jeebies. She goes in on this boat, sets sail, and makes a deal with this like witch. Right, you'll get me pregnant, but you'll have twins. One will be good, one will be bad, and the bad one you'll have to let go on their 10th birthday, because that is when he'll come after him. She's like, who? And then it's like, the big man down below for the 4-letter place, hell in a cell. And it's like, okay, right, that's quite good, that's quite creepy. We'll see where this leads. But at this point you're thinking, right, so she's obviously going to give birth, something's going to happen, and then we'll get back to the current timeline. But what proceeds, folks, over like the next 80 fucking minutes is pretty much an origins prologue. So she's pregnant, gives birth, one looks good, one looks bad. The father, the king guy, just kills the baby, and it's like, what? He just grabs this knife and absolutely stabs it straight through the heart. Be like zero hesitation. Now, one was called Sumala and one was called Kumala, right? Probably butchering all these names, but your point is they were twin sisters, right? And the one that's left alive turns out to be a crippled. She's getting bullied, etc., etc., and it turns out after a few years her dead twin isn't very much dead, but it's obviously like a demonic force at this stage of the game, controlling her alive crippled sister. So she starts like pissing on tables, stabbing her father through the hand, eating the heads off chickens, things like this. And then things take like a more serious turn when she starts like killing children and other members of the community. But then as it gets closer and closer and closer to the 10th birthday, things get turned up and up and up. She lets her aunt go, and you know what? I thought Aunt was a pretty good character, but at the same time it's like any level of sympathy that you could have had towards these like parents is out the fucking window, because right, the father like slapped his kid around and he slapped his wife around, right? Oh, but back in those days it was a wee bit more. But the mother, man, it's like, what the fuck she did? Completely like, not this, now disowning's too strong of a word, but kind of just wants nothing to do with the daughter, looks down on her, and it's like, at least you could argue with the father, he's like oblivious to why the kid is like crippled, and also why like there's this like whole twin devil deal going on. The mother knows what the fuck's going on here, and she's acting like butter wouldn't melt. And then that's when we get like the final sequence of the movie, where these kids died and they're all like raging, and then they figure out, oh my god, it's she that's doing it. The lieutenant guy, he gets killed, head cut off. Then she kills her mother in a scene that felt too dragged out. The father then goes to this like voodoo guy who's like, if you can't stop it by 12 o'clock when she turns 10, then you have to stab her through the heart. And then the fight scene between those guys, Jesus Christ, man. Say those guys, this guy and his 10-year-old daughter, lasts about what? I mean, no word of exaggeration, it probably lasted about 25 minutes, right? And I mean, I'm all for decent length fight scenes, but 25-minute one? That seems like we're taking the biscuit. The absolute biscuit. Wasn't a fan of this. I thought it was a wee bit pish, to say the least. You know, and then he stabs her through the heart after hesitating the first time. But it was also a funny scene where she was like, his wife says to him about the other name, and he's like, who's that? He's like, yeah, like you wouldn't remember stabbing your baby through the fucking heart. You know what I mean? Just absolutely retarded, to say the least. Yeah, so he manages to eventually stab her, but then it turns out that her heart switched places, and then she kills him. Oh my. And then after all this is when it eventually switches back to the present timeline, which was what, 1976 I believe, or 1974, 1975, something in the mid-70s. And then basically she's alive, kicking. We see footage of her still going, and then it turns out at the end of the movie this is based on a true story, and the people in this region, in wherever this country is, don't go out at night at the same time as I'm recording this at night in a forest. But thankfully this isn't going to be quite that bad. You know what I mean? But it's just like, that's fucking crazy, isn't it? Like, I don't know, this movie, like, which began so like hot with the present day, like holy shit, this kid's died, to then like an 80-minute prequel story, 90-minute almost, then back to like the current timeline, just to end and wrap up in like 3 minutes. I mean, yeah, some of the acting was funny, but some of it was good. But I'll get a 5 out of 10. Here, if you're looking for like a cheap, scary movie, then this is probably the best bang for your buck that you're going to get. But me pretending anything other than this movie being, you know, it's decent. I think 5 out of 10 for a movie is bearable. Like, if you watch a TV show, it's 5 out of 10. It's like, that's like a lot of hours wasted. Well, with a movie, I feel like, well, you know what I mean? It's not as bad. Anyway, folks, that's where we're going to leave it here for Fog Entertainment with this movie review. Although it came out last year, and as we sit towards the end of February, no 2025 movies reviewed. Will that change?